The fact that you are focused on each month getting money, each month paying for my roof, each month paying for my food, each month. That's sad. Then you cannot think about what can I do now to build something that could be an established thing in 2 years. You take risk and you expend energy to get energy in return to eventually also spend that energy in a point of time in the future, right? Whatever you want to spend that on. And everything is made up or is maintained by energy. Everything, the plants, everything. We are looking at concrete or just stones, whatever, like they all came from an expenditure of energy. It's condensed energy in a certain way.
Joining us today is Bram Kanstein, host of the Bitcoin for Millennials podcast. With over a decade of being immersed in the world of Bitcoin, Bram is on a mission to empower millennials with the knowledge of Bitcoin's transformative potential. Through his podcast, he delves into the intricacies of why Bitcoin serves as a vital exit ramp from the current monetary system. In doing this, Bram addresses the prevailing nihilism and apathy toward the deteriorating economic and geopolitical landscape many millennials feel. Bitcoin instead offers hope for a better future. Drawing from his extensive expertise as a startup consultant, he sheds light on the hopeful alternative that Bitcoin offers for a brighter financial future for both people and businesses. Before we get on with the video, we'd like to introduce our sponsors who have made this series possible: Stampseed, the Orange Pill app, and Swan. It's our mission to provide our audience with a safe, reliable, and robust way to buy, store, and learn about Bitcoin. Our partners are businesses and people we respect, and are products that we at Bit Intelligence personally use. You're watching 21 Voices. Without further ado, here is Bram Kanstein in Madeira, Portugal.
The millennials that I'm then part of, right? Like we saw this entire transition, just linear TV, then very, very slow internet, then SMS. I remember that I was on the soccer field with my friends and we had like our first phone when we were like 14 or something, and we used to send text messages to each other, like from the one goal to the other, right? And we would imagine like there's a message flying, like an invisible thing flying here, and it's ending up in your phone and you're on the other side of the field. And I remember that was so fun that like we texted each other just nonsense, but just that magic of that communication was really, really cool. And I think at that moment in time, I didn't know about telegraph or how that changed like communication, or even printing books, etc. But now at this age, seeing this, it's the exact same thing. But what I do find difficult is that because you understand more, like the subject of money is so big that you start doubting yourself. Like, am I living in this moment in time that this thing is happening? And when you see, well, again, something like Fidelity say, this is akin to fire and the wheel, like, wow, it's like we were alive at that moment in time. Like, what has been the impact of fire and the wheel? Well, that's pretty incredible, yeah, that we are actually there. We are lucky enough to be there, yeah. People understand communication, but money is just like a given for a lot of people, and especially for me as well. If you grow up as a millennial in a Western country, you don't even have to be, you can be poor and you're rich compared to other people in the world, right? So there, you don't really have the real problems that people in other parts of the world have. So the money still works for you in a certain way, right? So when it really clicked for me is like, okay, you have system A, which is the Fiat system, which is the debt-based system. And then you have system B, which is nice, yeah? System Bitcoin, where everything is forced to be transparent and you can check all the questions you have, you can check yourself. So also when people watch this video, they don't have to believe me. I think we all should invite people to check for themselves what we believe is true, right? And so when I go to work or I expend energy, physical or mind, whatever, like everyone does that, and you get energy in return in the form of the money, right? But the thing that we use to package that energy in, what we call money, is engineered to lose value at least like 2% a year. In reality, it's way more. So when you come back home from taking risks to earn that money, and the energy you captured is melting away every year, and you don't want to expend that money energy at that moment in time, but maybe in a year to buy a house or whatever, have a child or start a family. You need to take more risk to mitigate that debasement of that energy. And I think what is nice, I realized like I'm pretty risk averse and I'm also lazy, right? Like other people, like most people are lazy, right? So I was like, I don't want to participate in this thing. I tried trading stocks and doing these things, but it's just, I'm too emotional. Like I don't want to do that. So when I realized, hey, I can save value in this new system that I finally, at that point I understood it, like this is not going to be debased. And if there's other people who think the same and basically flee to this system where we can just store the energy until another point in time or space, then that is the best thing to ever like save your energy in. So then I stopped viewing getting Bitcoin as buying Bitcoin. I started viewing it as just moving energy from system A to system B, and then I went all in basically, yeah.
Please bear with us for a quick message from our sponsors. These videos take a lot of time to shoot and edit, and we've partnered with brands we trust like Stampseed and the Orange Pill app in order to get the funding we need to bring you these videos every week. Don't store your Bitcoin in cold storage without stamping your seed phrase on an indestructible titanium plate. Stampseed is fireproof, rust-proof, impact-proof, and easy to hide. It has no loose parts and will give you ultimate peace of mind that your Bitcoin is safe and sound for the long term. Click the link in the description below for 15% off your stamping kit. When I finally got Bitcoin, it hit me like a lightning bolt. This was the currency of the future, the only money that truly mattered. But there was a problem. I was a lone hodler in a sea of skeptics. That is, until I discovered the Orange Pill app. Suddenly, I was connected with a network of like-minded Bitcoin enthusiasts right in my own city. The Orange Pill app is more than just a social network. It's a community of passionate individuals determined to change the world, one Satoshi at a time. This series is brought to you by Swan and created by Bit Intelligence. Remember to like this video and subscribe to both our channels for more videos like this every week.
You take risk and you expend energy to get energy in return to eventually also spend that energy in a point of time in the future, right? Whatever you want to spend that on. So if you watch this video, look to the right wherever you are, look at anything you see, and everything is made up or is maintained by energy. Everything, the plants, everything. We are looking at concrete or just stones, whatever. Like they all came from an expenditure of energy. It's condensed energy in a certain way. And so, if your life is a set amount of time where you can expend energy to do things, then you should be able to expend that energy whenever you want. But if we use a way to exchange that energy between people that is flawed, which is what, is the fiat money, then because of decisions of other people that you don't know, your life is influenced, your time preference, right, is influenced. You are forced to be short-sighted in time. You are forced to discount the future. But if you think about life and you think about, okay, I have a certain amount of time on this life, which, nobody knows how long they have. But you should not discount your future. You are building towards a future. Like if you get a child, you are building towards a future. You want to see that child grow up. But if you're forced to make decisions or forced to be an investor, then that time is discounted or it's stolen from you or it's corrupted in a sense. Your freedom is gone, or at least it's influenced by that. And that doesn't sound like freedom to me, like wherever you live or whatever the rules are. Of course, people need to follow rules to interact with each other, but this is the base layer of interaction with each other. You have a trade, I have a trade, we shake hands on a certain deal. That should be enough. If you agree that everything that you do costs energy to create or maintain, and therefore you get rewarded in energy as well, think an energy example is good, right? So let's say you have a pizza and it's 1,000 calories, and you have 8 pieces in that pizza, right? Then each piece is 125 calories. So let's say you do something for me and you say that you're going to expend 125 calories, so you want 1 piece of the pizza from me. Then that is what we shake hands upon, and I give you that piece of pizza. You can eat, you replenish your energy, and then you can, you're still alive, you can expend that energy again. And so what people think about inflation is that when the governments or the banks create money, that the pizza gets bigger, that they create that energy, but energy cannot be created from nothing. So what they do is they cut the slices. So it goes from 8 to 16 pieces. But then when I hire you again, you still expend the 125 calories, and now you say, I want 2 units of the pizza that you are paying me with. So that is also the difference between value, which is the energy, and the price, which is the units in which we exchange that value, right? So first you wanted 1 unit of the pizza, now you want 2, and that is for me the explanation of inflation. Like for me that is just it. Well, people have different wants and needs, right? So if you want to stack or save that energy towards the future for whatever is your want or needs, right? It's different levels between different people. You now, let's say, have to write, I don't know what the CPI number in America is, but it's not the real number, right? So the real inflation is way bigger. I'm not going to say any numbers, I don't know exactly, but it is way bigger, right? And so first you have to mitigate that to 0 by taking more risk after your job or your venture, and only then you can build. And so it's basically what we just said. It steals your time that you could invest in that thing that you want to buy or create. And if you think about, for example, creating a family, you want to create a certain type of certainty before you step into that uncertainty, right? And so actually last week I had a talk with a guy who I deem very, very smart. But then I asked him, like, do you have children? And then he said no. And I said, why not? And then he said, yeah, because of this, like, I don't want to put a child in this world, right? And that, like, I know these stories, but that was the first time that I actually had, like, a direct conversation with someone who said that. And then like that really hit me, and I was like, okay, but then you basically give up. It's like I give up, like the day one, whoever they are, like the system one or whatever. Like it really saddened me actually, but on the one side, but on the other side, it's also really nihilistic, right? It's just like, oh, it's all going to hell. It's doom and gloom, and like, but for me, it's a bit ungrateful as well. Like you are alive. You are like, there's a 1 in 300 billion or trillion chance that you are you, right? And then you say like, well, other people decided this, so now that's the end of my like lifeline. End of my DNA stops here because some other people did things and I cannot change that, right? Like, yeah, I think that is not the way that you should look at your life, right? The whole goal is to make new life and build more and enhance it together. And so there's people that give up. Like that is, yeah, it's very saddening for me.
Bram's insights offer hope amidst all the problems unraveling in our society, showcasing Bitcoin's potential as a transformative force for millennials and beyond. He highlights the importance of understanding Bitcoin as an alternative to the current monetary system, and describes how your money is your energy, your battery of time. If you look at it this way, then you begin to understand why inflation steals your time. And what is your time if not the most precious commodity of your life? Stay tuned for more enlightening discussions, and remember to subscribe for the latest recaps, insights, and films about all things Bitcoin. This is 21 Voices. If you want to watch another episode, try this one here. We'll see you next time.